Today on Sugar Spun Run, I'll be showing you how to make frosted birthday cake cookies. Hey Sugar Spun Bakers, Sam here, and today I am so excited to be sharing another carefully tested, well-researched, and perfected recipe. For today's recipe, we are making birthday cake cookies, so it's just birthday cake in cookie form. We're going to be using the Loft House cookie recipe that I shared a little while back as the base, with a nice cream cheese frosting and a fun birthday cake crumble on top. Let's go ahead and get started. In a large bowl, we'll combine 1 cup of softened unsalted butter with 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. You could use a stand mixer for today's recipe, but I'll be using my electric hand mixer. And we'll cream together the sugar and the butter until they're well combined. You want everything to be nice and creamy. Next, we'll add 1 large egg, 1 egg white, just the white, discard the extra yolk, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat everything together again until it is thoroughly combined. Now in a separate bowl, we'll whisk together 3 1/4 cups of cake flour, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Stir everything together until it's well combined, and then we'll gradually stir this into the butter mixture until it's completely combined. This is looking pretty good, so now we'll transfer this to a piece of plastic wrap where we will work it into a disc, and I like to flatten it to be about 1 inch thick. This dough will need to chill in the refrigerator for about an hour before you can go any further. Once you're about ready to start rolling out the dough, you'll want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Go ahead and grab your dough and we'll transfer it to a clean, lightly floured surface, and we're going to roll it out to be between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick. To keep my dough from sticking and to make my cookies easier to cut out, I do like to pause periodically as I'm rolling out the dough and use a spatula to just scrape under the dough and loosen it, and if needed, if I feel like it's sticking, I'll just dust at the bottom, or I'll dust my surface with a little bit more flour before putting my cookie dough back down. Next, you'll need a 2-inch cookie cutter, and we'll cut out our cookies, and you want to keep those cuts as close together as possible. Once you've cut out as many cookies as you can, make sure you regroup your cookie dough and re-roll it out to get as many cookies out of the dough as possible. We'll transfer these cookies over to a parchment paper lined baking sheet. You want to space them about 2 inches apart, and we'll transfer them to our preheated oven where they'll need to bake for about 8 to 9 minutes. These cookies do have a cake-like texture, so it's very important that you don't overbake them. If you accidentally overbake them, you're going to end up with cookies that are a bit too dry and too tough rather than soft, chewy, and melt in your mouth as they ought to be. All right, these cookies look pretty good, so we're going to let them cool completely before we frost them. However, while they're cooling, let's go ahead and make our frosting. In a mixing bowl, we're going to combine 4 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter with 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. I'm going to be using my hand mixer to cream these together until they're smooth and well combined. And here I have measured out 2 1/2 cups of powdered sugar. I'm just going to add about half of that. And I'll also add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm using clear vanilla extract just because it's going to keep the frosting a little bit of a more pure white color, and also because it's a little bit more artificial, which lends itself to that cake batter flavor that most of us are familiar with. But you can of course use regular vanilla extract instead. We're also going to add just a dash of salt. This is a little under 1/8 teaspoon. And we'll stir everything together until all of that powdered sugar is absorbed and the mixture is nice and smooth. Now gradually add the remaining powdered sugar and stir until everything is completely combined. You can of course just spread this frosting directly on the cookies, but I like to put mine in a piping bag fitted with a large open tip. It'll just make the frosting look a little bit nicer. Now there is one other key ingredient that you need for these birthday cake sugar cookies. We are going to be making my cake batter crumble or confetti crumble that I just shared earlier this week. If you remember, that recipe is super simple. You're just going to cream together 5 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter with 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract until that's completely combined and light and creamy. Separately, you'll whisk together 1 1/3 cups of cake flour with 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Stir the dry ingredients into the butter mixture just until everything is combined. Then add 3 tablespoons of your favorite sprinkles and work those into the mixture with your hands. You should have a nice crumbly mixture that resembles streusel. You don't want any pieces that are too large, so if you have any large clumps, break them up. Scatter this over a parchment paper lined baking sheet and bake on 315 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes. Make sure you let the crumble cool completely before using it in today's recipe. Now you won't need all of the crumble, don't worry, the rest is great for snacking, but I like to take about a cup or 2 cups of this, and rather than use it in the large pieces that I have, I like to soften them up a little bit. To do this, I'm just going to transfer them to a plastic Ziploc bag, and I'm just going to beat them up a little bit with a rolling pin. You don't want to totally pulverize this mixture to dust because you want to have some discernible pieces. You just want to soften it a little bit and give it more of a cakey consistency, sort of as if you had torn up a birthday cake and put it on top of these cookies. Looks like we have everything we need, so let's go ahead and assemble our cookies. I just like to do a nice simple swirl of frosting. You don't want anything too intense. You want a fairly thin layer. And then we'll take that crumble mixture and we'll sprinkle it over the cookies, but I also like to just gently press it in because I want to make sure that it's sticking to the frosting so that when you pick up your cookies, the crumble doesn't just fall off. For an extra pop of color, I do like to add a few more sprinkles on top as well. And that is how you make these fun birthday cake sugar cookies. I hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe, and if you try this one out, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think because I always love hearing from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. You're so good.